Before I tell this dream, I just want to say this. I feel like the government, military, whatever, people in general, the people on this earth need to really get their job done. And because when it comes down to it, we can't be fighting evil and mean people at the same time fighting a beast. That's what I learned from this dream. Because then it makes it near impossible to win that war. So the dream starts off like this. I'm on like a boat thing, kind of an oil rig. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm on an oil rig, and I am a janitor slash counselor, basically not a soldier, but I'm surrounded by soldiers and some family and some other survivors. At first, I didn't understand why we were out in the sea as survivors. Over time, I understood it throughout the dream. First, it was an awesome dream. We got to test the boats out. We were having fun with the boats, just making them, flying them, driving them fast. It was actually a point where I was holding on to a boat. Me, my sister, my mom were just on this boat, and then we had to hold on to the boat because it would dive underwater and come back up, like giving us little dips, like as if you were holding on to a dolphin or something. But they knew we were on the boat, so they wouldn't stay. They wouldn't go too deep, and they wouldn't stay under too long. But they would kind of try to scare us. For example, there's another boat that was test driving itself, and it decided to go head first with this boat like to play chicken. Once it dived under it, and it was kind of funny because my mom had this helmet on, this work helmet or something, and then but they didn't like lower it enough, and then every time when it went under the water, I didn't want to go under the water with it. I had popping ears, so I'd like let go of the boat, swim back to the top, and hold back onto the boat once it got to the top again. But I saw for a second, like, poof, the other boat that they were trying to go under. My mom just sitting there, and she didn't move even though the boat on top of us was hitting off her head and actually pushing up the boat. And I'm like, dang, she's strong to be pushing up that other boat. Didn't think about the water. Makes everything a lot more weaker. Anyways, so things are going good, right? It's a fun time. It's like basically summer at sea. Boy, did it change, and it changed quick. Sirens, alarms, the whole shebang just started. Oh, it was horrible. It was like you knew something dangerous was coming, but you didn't know what. So I get back in the fort. By the way, in case I forgot to mention, this is a dream that I'm having. Anyways, I get back in this fort or whatever it was, base, whatever, and then it seems everything's going all good. I'm getting to know the people, and also I'm getting to know my situation. If only I got to know it a little bit faster, because I could probably escaped it, like the first part of the dream was meant to be. I wasn't having fun in the water. It was a plan of an escape. It was an escape plan. Anyways, I'll get more into that later on. So sirens start going off again. I did not see what was attacking, but afterwards, all I heard was one of the guards say, "Well, we're down one watchdog." What do you mean? So someone attacked and killed the watchdog and that was it? Like, why would they do that? It didn't make no sense. So I walked around asking all the guards and all the people there, like, what attacked? What was all those sirens about, those crazy sirens? No one answered me. In fact, they ignored me. Makes more sense when you hear why. But, so, what I do is, in my smart brain, I decide to go outside for myself and take a look around. Like investigate a little bit to see what actually, or what attacked us. Maybe the left hints or something like that. At least check on the dogs, I think. Maybe that's what I was doing. So I go over to the dogs, this little dog house area in the corner of this. Now remember, we're on an oil rig, so or like an oil rig, so we're basically on a base in the middle of the sea. And then so as I'm going to this dog house, I hear this giant splash in the water. What was that? Like I don't know what that was, but as soon as I heard that splash in the water, the sirens started going off again. Another attack. So right away I knew from the first time the sirens going off, well, something happened to one of the dogs, and I'm standing right next to the dogs as a sign. This ain't good. But so what I do is I get behind the doghouse and I pull the dogs by their chains to get behind the doghouse too with me. And at that point I'm just like playing with the dogs. And then I finally have the nerve to check around the corner and see what made that splash in the water. What I saw, I regret looking at, honestly. This thing was not a creature of anything I've ever seen before. It could have been a dinosaur or something like that. Honestly, Godzilla, I don't know. All I saw was the head of it. It was black like a shadow, possibly had scale-like skin, and sharp teeth, sharp teeth. Luckily, it wasn't looking my way, but it was just looking straight ahead. So after that, luckily I saved the dogs at that time. I was able to keep them behind the doghouse. No one got hurt at that time. The monster just basically went back in the water. I think the guards came out and shot at it a bit to make it run away, but I doubt it. I think the guards stayed inside. This was the wussy army. But anyways, after that, I end up back in the base. And I don't know how to explain what I just saw in that water. So now I'm like everyone else. I'm not talking about it. Like they weren't answering me. But see, there's a difference. I wasn't talking about it because I didn't know how to explain what I saw. They weren't telling me about it because I wasn't on the equal level as them. I was a prisoner. And this is how I find out. I had to write this down because it was a long dream. So as I'm cleaning the inside of the base for this next part, the sirens started again. Oh boy, the monster's back for a third time. Like, dang, why hasn't anyone nuked this monster already? Like, come on, we're out at sea. What are you people really scared to get? Maybe you're scared to make a new monster with all that pollution. Who knows? Anyways, one of the guards yelled while the sirens are going off, "Pirates are attacking." Pirates? Well, I guess we're out at sea. It makes sense. What didn't make sense was this. One of the so-called pirates ran up to me, and then they said, "Come on, we're here to set you free." And that's when I looked down. I wasn't a janitor. I wasn't a counselor. I was a prisoner. I looked down at my ankle. There's a chain on my ankle. And boy, did that tick me off. But you know what? I couldn't be angry at that moment. I had to realize what was going on. This was a saving operation. This was a rescue mission, basically, for me. But instead of letting them save me, I decided them to save my family that was there. I said, just let me stay here. Just go get them out there, and save yourselves. More importantly, save yourselves, because you're the warriors that the world needs. So that's what they did. They freed my mom and my sister, and then they took off. But afterwards, half the soldiers that were keeping me captive as a prisoner, they died. The only ones that were basically left were the rich people that went hiding in their safe asylum, or whatever you call it, safe house, safe room, and the war general, the one that was too scared to get on the front lines, basically. Those people were the survivors on their side. My side, 2/3 of my army died. Walking around, I saw dead bodies. I don't know if my mom and my sister survived, got out there alive. I don't know if the guy that went in there, but I know my army took a big blow on that one, It hurt. That part really did hurt me. Knowing that, I just wish I knew, what was going on at that point. Well, the next part. So now, it feels like it's 2 days later. All said has been done. I'm back to being able to do good behavior, try to get out early, basically, is what I'm thinking. So I'm just cleaning up the place like a janitor, and at this point, I'm not even smiling anymore at these people because I know they're my captors, and I know that they're bad people. Life. Stay out of my dreams. But, anyways, so, that's the last part of the dream here. And this was the most This is the most crazy part, right? This is where it made it into a movie, my dream into a whole horror movie, honestly. It was wild. I don't know how this could have gone to make it any more soothing, honestly. It was so wild. It was crazy. When I woke up, I loved it, but in the dream, I hated it because it was so scary moment. Here, this is what happened. The sirens went off again. Okay? And, well, actually, first, no, this time the sirens did not go off. Actually, what happened was I was cleaning up the place and I saw someone left a garbage bag on the outside door and then to the boat docking area. So I was thinking, wow, these rich or this warden or whatever these people are, they're so snob, they're so lazy and disgusting that they can't even take out the trash. What they do is they throw the trash outside the door. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna be the better person, bigger person, whatever you say. So I go out there, I start to tie up this trash bag, and then I hear the splash of water again. Not a good sign. It sounded just like the time when that monster popped its head out of the water. I looked over to the docking area, which was only 15, 20 feet away from me. Probably 25, 30 feet away from me, more likely. And the monster had climbed out the water. This thing had a snake-like body, 12 legs or arms at the back of it, a giant sharp fin on the top of it, the same head, monster-like head, sharp teeth, and I was almost frozen in fear, but not really, because I was walking backwards I was like moving backwards to the door, basically. You know how you would do with a wild animal. Of course, I should have ran, but seeing something that like you never seen before kind of throws you off guard. It really does. This was no creature. This was no monster. This was a demon, and a giant one at that. And I had no idea what I was going to do, because this thing was only 25, 30 feet away from me, and it looked like it was smiling and wanting to eat me alive. So I get to the door, and I'm so scared that I'm sweating, and so I like the knob. It's like a push door. You have to push it open. If you let go of it, it's going to shut on its own. So the first time trying to open the door, it shuts on its own because I accidentally let go of the handle. I turned back around, and what really made me do that was this. That monster pulled out some wires that were holding like this generator from it with its teeth, and it just started swinging it in a circle like it was about to propel it right at me. Basically like how you would see that the sack with the rocks in it, how they would use in the cowboy and Indian times. That kind of deal. It was going to do that to me. And with a giant generator like twice my size, though. So I was a little bit freaked out. I had if I didn't go fast enough, I would have got squashed. Luckily, that second time opening the door, I got in there and I started telling, even though I didn't like those captors, I told them right away, you guys got a monster, and this time it didn't even set off the siren. Somehow it was able to sneak into this base, and now it's on the base right now. Like, what are you all gonna do? What you gonna do? Honestly, I still had the chain on my ankle, so I couldn't really do much. I'm not gonna fight for these people. They kept me prisoner. If anything, I'm gonna grab me a box of popcorn and watch the show. Even though, screw them. That's how I felt at that moment. Screw them. Let the monster eat. Even though the monster scared the crap out of me, I was still for the monster. Heck, no one captures me without some bad outcomes, that's for sure. So, here's the crazy part of the dream. This is how I know everyone died on that base. Because the one gun that could kill that monster, they didn't have any more bullets for. They called it the one-shot kill or something like that. The one-shot, yeah, that's what they call it. He's like, the war general, because there was no more soldiers left. And when my army invaded that base and basically took them all out, they basically took out all the soldiers. They left the rich people that were civilians, and they left the one war general. So if he had to fight, he had to fight alone. I loved what they did right there. I loved that so much. Because a war general, he's like, oh crap, He's like, what am I supposed to do against a giant monster alone? And plus, we ain't got no super weapon anymore because it's out of bullets. It was so priceless. He looks at me because we're at that door where it goes to a boating docks where I just came in from, and he looks at me, and there's like this gun in this glass case like you would see a fire extinguisher, and then he looks at me and says, "Well, that's a gun that one shot killed, but there's no ammo for it." And I just smile so widely. I'm like, "What are you gonna do?" Like, what are you gonna do now? And then so, at that point, I knew this whole base was screwed because that monster, it was fast and it was intelligent, very, very smart. I mean, think about it. Right away, in order to kill me, it could have used its mouth. It could have used its sharp, giant teeth, but instead it pulled something off the wall holding a generator and started swinging it like it had a human-like brain, is what I'm saying. This thing thought, whatever I got around me, I'm going to use as a weapon. That's how prisoners think. Maybe it was I don't know. Anyways, I woke myself up at that part. Why? Because I knew that base was screwed and I was in that base. I'm not going to get screwed with them. I knew it was a dream at that point. But I tell you what, it was so satisfying to know my captors were like, it was funny because I could have escaped with my army, but instead I told them, no, save them. Save my family, but don't save me. Because it's like I knew the ending was going to happen this way. They were going to get so screwed, it would be priceless. Anyways, that was my dream of the horrible sea base. How dare they try to hold me as a prisoner? They held me as a prisoner, and what happened? They sunk. Just happens. By the way, my life feels like a prisoner, doesn't it? Anyways, stay awesome, people. Keep that in mind. Don't use others to be your slaves or to do your bidding when you could do it yourself. Because those people, they know exactly what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. That's what that dream taught me, Let time show and let time tell.